You saw the title, and I know what you're thinking, another a-hole online trying to sell you a course or something. I just want to talk to you guys through my journey as a TikTok Shop affiliate, going from $0 to over $500,000 in commission, not sales, and it's been about 15 months. We're going to start at the very beginning, and by the end of this video, hopefully this helps you out in your TikTok Shop journey, or if you're not in the program yet, definitely check out some of the videos down below. I have this the hack or something of getting into the program, getting those 5,000 followers, and it's a lot easier than you think. Just takes a couple weeks. All right, so in February of 2024, I was part of an Amazon influencer program, and I was making pretty good money, $5,000 to $7,000 a month, making videos on there, making review videos, getting commissions when people bought my product. And I knew someone that was in the program, and he would always make these YouTube videos, and he started talking about how he was making money on TikTok. And he was putting these screenshots of like $30,000, $40,000 in 1 month. And I was like, there's no way. But I was like, all right, whatever. I already had the amount of followers, which was 5,000 followers. I had those followers. I was like, I'll try it. I got into the TikTok Shop program. I started ordering some products, and I started making these random videos, and they were terrible. I got like this dog leash, and I'd walk my dog, and I'd be like, this is the greatest dog leash ever. And I got 0 sales. Maybe I got 1 sale in February. And then I kept trying in March, and I was getting maybe like 2 or 3 sales. I found these sleep gummies that my wife really liked. And I actually had a video get like 1,000 views, and I think I sold 2, and I was like super excited. I'm like, there's something here, because I knew people were making money with this. And around this time, I also saw that people were doing live streams, and they were just like showing a product, and they were like, hey, this is the product. If you want to buy it, it's linked down below. And I was like, maybe I can do that. And then I went to Hawaii to go visit a friend, and he was showing me the supplement he had. It was a D3 supplement, which is what you get from like the sun, but it had K2 in it. K2, and he was telling me, he was like, you need the K2 in order to absorb the D3. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I went on TikTok, and I saw there was a supplement that was really popular, a D3 K2 supplement from Micro Ingredients. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna order the product. When I got back home from Hawaii, I was like, all right, it came, and I was like, I'm gonna do a live stream with it. Live stream started, it was like 8 p.m. I had like 5 to 10 viewers, which is really common in live streams. And then I started doing it, and I just kept repeating the same thing. You need the D3 to get the K2, yada, yada. And then I got like 50 viewers. Then I get to 100 viewers, and then 200, 300, 400, 500. And I start seeing these sales come in, and I know I'm getting $5 per sale. And I was like, holy crap, I've sold 100 of these. And then I was like, whoa, I've sold 150 of these. And it was just insane. Long story short, I stayed up until midnight. I was on 4 hours. I ended up making $2,500. After that point, I'm like, all right, I'm all in. I'm doing this thing. Next day, I hop back on for another couple of hours. I start getting violations for saying things that I shouldn't be saying, talking about health claims. But I'm making still like another $1,000 in 2 hours. And then the next day I do it again, but I start getting these violations, and pretty soon I'm like, if I keep doing this, my account's gonna get banned. I start looking around, I'm like, maybe there's other products. I start scrolling through, I'm seeing who's going live, and I'm like, I keep seeing these ice makers. And I saw an email from this company, Uhomie, that makes these ice makers, and I was like, hey, could you send me one? I'll live stream it. And they were like, they sent me an ice maker, put it on my counter that night. I go live with it, and I sell in 2 hours. I get up to like 50 to 100 viewers. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. And I'm just kind of saying, this is an ice maker, it's pretty cool. And I ended up making like $300. And I was like, wow, that wasn't bad. The next day I go live again. I make like $400. Next day, $500, $600, $700. And I'm staying on for like 2 hours at a time. And then I was like, I'll stay on longer. So I stayed on for like 4 hours. I made like $1,500. At this point, I was like, hey, I reached out to the company. I was like, hey, could you raise my commission from like 15% to 20%? They're like, if you keep live streaming for us. I'm like, sweet. And this is end of April. We're getting into May. And then May, I'm just nonstop. Every hour I have, I'm just like, I'm gonna go live with. Long story short, I ended up making about $40,000 in the month of May 2024. I continue this into June, and I'm spending on the weekends. I realized that I'm making more money, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna stay on for 8 hours on the weekend. And I was like, okay, cool. And I was making like $4,000 in 8 hours on the weekend. I'm like, this is awesome. So I stayed on June, and then halfway through June to halfway through July, that whole month period, I make $82,000. And I'm like, all right, this is just nuts. And I keep doing it, and I keep making all this money. And then eventually in like August time, my product, I start getting way lower viewers. Like I was used to getting 500 to 1,000 viewers. I'm down like 100, 200 viewers. People just aren't buying it. And I realized there's life cycles to these products. And I was like, okay, I don't really like to stay on here making $100, $200 an hour when I'm used to making $400 to $1,000. At one point, I made $1,000 an hour for 8 hours. I made $8,200. It was crazy. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to figure out this video thing again, because during this time I was like, I'm not gonna do videos and stuff. So I joined this thing called the Social Army. It's like a training group, and they had all these videos from a bunch of affiliates, and the affiliates would show their top videos. And I was like, okay, I found these affiliates I kind of liked, and I was like, all right, these are some guys I kind of can relate to. I'm gonna follow their account. And I saw this guy, and he gets 30 million views on a video, and I was on these shoes. So I was like, sweet, I'm gonna order these shoes, request these shoes as a free sample, and I'm gonna copy his video. And I'm like, all right, this is a great plan. This is like mid-August time, and I do it, and I request these shoes, and I make the video, and the video starts like a couple days later. It goes from like 1,000 views to 500 to 5,000 views, 10,000, up to 1 million views. I start making a bunch of sales. People are commenting like crazy. Long story short, on this one, I end up going 18 million views. I make $20,000 on that one video. I recreate that video on a bunch of reply videos, end up making another probably $5,000 on those videos as well, because some of them got like 500,000 to 1 million views. And then halfway through September, I was going on a trip, and right before I left on this trip, this company gets on TikTok, and I've heard of it before. It's called Goalie. And Social Army, the training group that I'm a part of at this point, they partner with Goalie because Goalie wants to really push this out. Social Army has a bunch of affiliates in it, and they're like, hey, we'll give you higher commissions to all the affiliates in here if you guys help us like make a bunch of videos. And I was like, whatever, I'll give it a try. And I saw that they were selling 3 of their bottles of their ashwagandha, and if you put 3 in your cart, you got $10 off. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make a quick video showing me putting 3 in my cart, like a screen recording of it essentially, and showing people, hey, if you add 3 to your cart, you get $10 off. It's a great deal. And I make this video. I go on my trip. First day on my trip, I go down to Colombia. I make $300 on that video. And I was like, holy crap. Next day, $400, $500. But halfway through the trip, I'm making over $1,000 on that video because everyone's ordering 3 of them. And I'm making like $3 per sale. So I'm making about $10 if they buy 3, which is most of them are doing. And long story short, on that video, it ends up doing 9 million views. I end up making $65,000 on that video because converting like crazy. And then they had a campaign where you can win additional prizes based on your sales, and that stacks on top of your commission. I ended up winning a Rolex, and I ended up taking the cash value, which was about $10,000. I do that twice. For 2 months, I get it. So I get $10,000 both times. So the video ended up doing over $80,000, and I was like, okay, so this is going crazy. And then around this same time, I start copying viral videos, and I had this mouth tape video get 9 million views, and it makes about $7,000. I have an ice maker video that makes $10,000, and I'm showing how to use these ice makers. I find these cat litter boxes, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. And going into December, I'm starting to make, November, December, I think combined, I made about $80,000, $90,000 in those 2 months. And then we get into January 2025. That's when the TikTok Shop ban is about to happen. And I'm like, oh man, end of the line, I guess. The high is over, but ends up TikTok's not banned. My sales drop considerably. I keep trying to go viral. Nothing's hitting. I'm hitting, $13,000 to $14,000 to $15,000 months, but I'm not hitting those $40,000 to $50,000 months that I'm used to. But I just stay at it, and I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna keep uploading videos, keep copying viral videos. I start a couple months in November, December, I started using this software called the Daily Virals. It shows me all the videos going viral in real time. That way I know which ones, and I can hop on those trends quick. I'll leave it down below. You get their first month for free with the code Cole. I pay for it, but he gives you guys the first month free with the code Cole. And I go on there every single day, and I copy all the viral videos. And a lot of times nothing happens because TikTok, the algorithm, it's all different. It's always changing. So what worked one day might not work the next day, but sometimes it does work. And I keep doing this, and I keep copying these viral videos, and I started to have some more take off, and now we are in July 2025, and last month I did about $20,000. This month, we're almost at the end of the month. I'm on pace to do about $30,000. I'm starting to see some uphill kind of trajectory, but overall I've done over $500,000 on TikTok as an affiliate. Totally changed my life, and yeah, it's amazing. If you have any questions, let me know down below. I'd love to make another video about, I guess, anything that you guys have any questions on. But thanks for watching.